His little eyes snapped with glee at the sight of the Chamberlain rolling about on the floor. As purse-bearer, he always had to walk back of Tazzywaller in royal processions, and to see his rival in disgrace was an exquisite pleasure to the envious old Mudger. "Your Excellency sent for me?" asked Panapee, bowing deeply. "Yes," shrilled Mustafa, pushing back his turban and pointing a trembling finger at Tazzywaller. "He says there are no more lions in Mudge, and I, Mustafa, must have another lion." "Your Highness knows best," murmured Panapee, rolling up his eyes and putting his fingertips together. "You know as well as I that there are no more lions in Mudge," cried Tazzywaller, springing to his feet, shaking his fist under Panapee's nose. "There are other countries beside Mudge," said Panapee loftily. "Now, I presume your Highness was thinking of an odd, unusual sort of lion, something bigger and better than the kind now fighting amiably in the royal reservation." "How well you understand me," sighed Mustafa, sinking back among his cushions. "That's just what I do want, Panny. A strange, rare, royal sort of lion who will keep the rest in order and add to the honor and dignity of our court." "I have a book," confided Panapee, placing his finger mysteriously beside his nose. "A book of lions, and if your Highness will but excuse me, I will fetch it from my tent." "Are you going to get a lion out of a book?" asked Mixtuppa sleepily. "How stupid of Tazzywaller not to have thought of that." Now, while Panapee goes back for his book, I must tell you that Mudge is a blue and barbarous country in the southwestern part of the Munchkin country of Oz. It is a hot, dry desert land, and the Mudgers themselves are a short-tempered, long-legged tribe of troublemakers. They live in blue striped tents, and, if it were not for their bright blue whiskers, you would take them for Arabs, as they wear sweeping white robes and turbans to protect themselves from the heat and desert sands. In olden Oz times, the Mudgers used to descend upon the helpless little countries that surrounded them and carry off everything of value. But Glinda, the good sorceress of Oz, put a stop to that. One night, flying over Mudge in her swan chariot, she had dropped a blue book, and it had fallen on the oldest Mudger in the kingdom, hitting him a terrible blow on the nose. It had been a blow to them all, for in gold letters on the first page of the book stood this sentence: "From this day on, any Mudger leaving the land of Mudge shall lose his head, by order of Ozma, ruler of all Oz." There were other warnings in the Blue Book, but the first had changed the whole history of the country. No Mudger was brave enough to venture out of Mudge after that, so the thieving raids on other countries had stopped instantly, and the Mudgers, deprived of the pleasure of stealing from their neighbors, stole from each other and were always quarreling among themselves and moving their tents from place to place. The people of the surrounding countries would come to the borders of Mudge to bargain for the dates, figs, and coconuts for which the land was famous, but Mustafa's grandfather, who was then ruler of the Desert Kingdom, disagreeably decided that since no Mudger might leave Mudge, no outsider should enter his country. Warnings were posted on all the borders of Mudge, and soon no one came near the horrid little kingdom, so that it went on growing more blue and barbarous all the time, as people are bound to do who have no friends or neighbors. When Mustafa, who really was not a bad fellow at heart, assumed the throne, he tried to divert the minds of his quarrelsome subjects by organizing hunts. There were many lions in the uninhabited parts of the desert, and for a time hunting lions kept the Mudgers out of mischief. But soon they were quarreling over even that, and the royal hunting expeditions were more in the nature of battles than pleasure